When you first hear about the lover archetype, your first thoughts might be about being the passionate romantic. But this archetype is not just about romance. The lover is the one who follows their heart, dives deep into relationships, and seeks connection above all else. So there's more to this archetype than just candlelight dinners and emotional intensity. The lover is a psychological archetype that's found within all of us, one that can inspire deep beauty, creativity, and joy. Or it can lead to obsession, heartbreak, and self-abandonment if left unchecked. In Jungian psychology, every archetype serves a purpose in our journey toward wholeness. Integrating the lover means embracing vulnerability, cultivating emotional depth, and forming meaningful bonds, not just with others, but also with ourselves and the world around us. When repressed, the lover can manifest as emotional numbness, addiction, or codependency. But when brought into balance, it allows us to live with passion, presence, and compassion. Like all archetypes, the lover must be consciously understood and expressed, not allowed to run wild in the unconscious. In this video, we're going to explore the archetype of the lover, its role in stories, myths, pop culture, and our own lives. By the end, you'll understand the lover's power, its benefits, its pitfalls, and how to embrace this energy in a way that brings you into deeper connection with others, with the world, and most importantly, with yourself. So Carl Jung's model of the psyche is divided into three main parts: the conscious mind, the personal unconscious, and the collective unconscious. The conscious mind is where our ego lives. The ego is the center of our conscious awareness, responsible for our sense of identity and our interactions with the outside world. It filters out perceptions, helping us navigate daily life by focusing on what we are aware of at any given moment. The personal unconscious, on the other hand, is where we store forgotten memories, suppressed thoughts, and feelings. Things we are not actively aware of, but can recall or bring to mind when needed. This is also where the shadow resides. The shadow represents the parts of ourselves that we reject or deny, often because they don't align with our self-image or society's expectations. However, understanding and integrating the shadow is essential for personal growth because it holds hidden strengths and insights, and being aware of it can also prevent you from committing the same mistakes over and over again. Lastly, the collective unconscious goes beyond the individual. It is a shared part of the human psyche containing archetypes, universal primal symbols and patterns of behavior that are common across cultures. This is something we all have in common as humans and are born with. It's in the collective unconscious where we find the 12 archetypes. These are patterns of behavior that resonate deeply within all of us. Today we'll focus on one of the most captivating and emotionally rich archetypes, the lover. As we see in countless movies, books, and myths, the lover's journey represents our universal longing for connection, passion, intimacy, and beauty. And while the lover's role can be deeply inspiring and life-affirming, it also has a shadow side, one that can lead to obsession, dependency, or emotional chaos. In this video, we'll explore both the light and the dark of the lover archetype and what it means for your own personal growth. Let's go over what this lover archetype even is. The lover archetype has existed across cultures for centuries, from romantic figures in poetry and mythology to spiritual seekers chasing divine union. In Jungian psychology, the lover represents a deep capacity for passion, emotional connection, sensuality, and appreciation for beauty, both in others and in life itself. Unlike the hero or ruler who seek control or power, the lover surrenders to feeling and seeks unity through intimacy and authenticity. This archetype is embodied in many of our favorite characters. Think of Rose from Titanic, whose longing for freedom and true connection transforms her life. Or Malin Roge Satine, whose intense devotion and tragic love show both the ecstasy and heartbreak of this archetype. These characters remind us that the lover holds great power. When integrated, it brings vitality and meaning. When imbalanced, it can lead to obsession or loss of self. In tarot, the Lover's card, when upright, represents harmony, connection, and aligned values, symbolizing love in its highest, most conscious form. When reversed, it reflects imbalance, misaligned relationships, or being driven by lust and temptation rather than genuine connection. Just like every archetype, the lover has a shadow side, and it often manifests as the seducer. While the lover seeks authentic connection, beauty, and intimacy, the seducer uses charm, passion, and attraction to manipulate, control, or escape emotional depth. The seducer fears true vulnerability and masks their wounds behind allure and performance. In real life, this shows up in people who crave constant attention, validation, or romance, not out of love, but out of fear of abandonment or lack of self-worth. These individuals often jump from relationship to relationship, confuse intensity with intimacy, or use their charisma to gain power. They may avoid real emotional connection because it requires honesty and surrender, which is something the shadow lover is terrified of. In pop culture, you can think of characters like Don Draper from Mad Men. His charm and power mask a deep emotional void, and no matter how many affairs he has, he remains disconnected from true love and from himself. Or think of Regina George from Mean Girls, who uses beauty and influence to control others while hiding deep insecurity. Psychologically, Carl Jung teaches us that the shadow represents the parts of ourselves we suppress. For the lover, the seducer emerges when love becomes transactional or when we fear being truly seen. Instead of connecting, the seducer seduces by turning intimacy into a performance. Understanding this shadow helps us recognize when we're seeking love to fill a void rather than from a place of wholeness. If we find ourselves addicted to attention or afraid of being alone, it may be time to confront the seducer within and reconnect with the true lover archetype that longs for real connection and self-love. There are 4 major advantages of the lover archetype that, if embraced in your own life, can help you build deeper connections, live with more passion, and experience great emotional fulfillment. I'll also bring up some examples from pop culture to help illustrate each point. Number 1, deep emotional connection. One of the lover's greatest strengths is their ability to form deep, authentic emotional bonds. While others guard their hearts or stay on the surface, the lover dives in by risking vulnerability in exchange for genuine connection. Hazel Grace and Augustus Waters from The Fault in Our Stars embody this well. Despite their fears, pain, and uncertain futures because of their terminal cancers, they choose to love fully and honestly. Their connection is not only romantic, but raw, meaningful, and transformative. This means that opening your heart even when it hurts is part of what makes life worth living. Without emotional risk, we miss out on the moments that shape us most. The lover archetype reminds us that real intimacy comes from being seen, known, and loved for who we truly are. Whether it's in friendships, romantic relationships, or family, allowing yourself to connect deeply may lead to heartbreak, but it also leads to beauty, healing, and unforgettable joy. Number 2, passion and aliveness. One of the lover's defining gifts is their capacity to feel deeply and live fully. They bring intensity, enthusiasm, and a zest for life that inspires those around them. In Pride and Prejudice, Elizabeth Bennet and Mr. Darcy are examples of this passion because of their romantic tension. Both of these characters have a fire they show for truth, dignity, and emotional honesty. Their spirited connection awakens something deeper in each of them, challenging their pride and prejudice and ultimately transforming them into more open-hearted, vibrant people. This shows us that passion is about being fully engaged with life. Romance can lead to that full engagement. The lover archetype teaches us to follow what excites our soul, whether that's in art, love, or purpose. When you let your heart lead, you will for sure feel more alive, and you will also inspire others to connect with their own passion. It's this emotional vitality that turns ordinary lives into unforgettable and inspiring stories. Another advantage of the lover archetype is to be profoundly in tune with their own emotions and the emotions of others. So number 3 is about sensitivity and empathy. This deep sensitivity enables them to connect with people on a meaningful level. For example, Katara from Avatar: The Last Airbender shows immense empathy for those in need, going out of her way to help others even when it's difficult. Whether it's healing someone's wounds or confronting a friend, Katara exemplifies how the lover archetype uses empathy to build strong, authentic connections. She shows us the power of understanding others and how vulnerability can create bonds that transcend hardship. Being sensitive also allows the lover to understand the deeper nuances of human interaction. They can sense the emotional undercurrents in a situation and respond in ways that support healing or growth. This sensitivity enables them to offer comfort, support, and care in ways that are deeply meaningful. It may seem like being so attuned to others' pain can sometimes feel like a burden. The lover's ability to empathize with others also allows them to create a more compassionate world around them. Through empathy, the lover archetype reminds us that we are all connected, and that by being sensitive to others, we can lift each other up. Number 4 is aesthetic appreciation. A key trait of the lover archetype is their deep appreciation for beauty in all forms. Art, nature, the human experience, or anything else you find fascinating in the universe. If you've seen the movie Soul, you find that Joe Gardner is a passionate musician. Joe's love for jazz music is so deep, so much so that he lives and breathes the art form and finds joy and meaning in every note. His character reminds us that the lover archetype sees the world through a lens of beauty and creative expression. They believe that life is full of moments of artistic brilliance, and by embracing those moments, we can experience a deeper connection to ourselves and the world around us. As mentioned earlier, this appreciation is not just with art. The lover archetype also appreciates the beauty in nature, the human experience, and everyday life. From the simple pleasures of a beautiful sunset to the joy of a heartfelt conversation, the lover can find meaning and inspiration in the small details. This heightened awareness of beauty encourages us to slow down, savor the present, and appreciate the wonders around us. By practicing aesthetic appreciation, the lover archetype teaches us to find joy in the world's beauty, and in doing so, create more fulfilling and harmonious lives. Aesthetic appreciation allows us to be present, which is key to finding true happiness and gaining more spiritual awareness. Just like with every archetype, there are some disadvantages that you could find yourself falling into. So it's important to be aware of this so that you don't allow yourself to fall deeply into these disadvantages. So let's start with number 1. Overdependence on others. One of the lover's greatest vulnerabilities is their tendency to define themselves through their relationships. Think about the character of Tom from 500 Days of Summer, played by Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Rather than developing his own sense of purpose and identity, he projects all of his hopes and happiness onto Summer. He becomes emotionally dependent, idealizing her and the relationship to the point where he loses sight of who he is without her. This overdependence not only sets him up for disappointment, it also prevents him from growing as an individual. Love and connection are powerful, but the lover archetype must learn to balance intimacy with self-reliance. Maybe you have been there before. A lot of us have. Think about a time when you placed too much emotional weight on someone else, expecting them to fill a void or to give your life meaning. While relationships can be enriching, they should not be your only source of fulfillment. Tom's journey reminds us that clinging too tightly to another person can distort reality and lead to emotional pain. You must love yourself first before you love somebody else. The lover must learn to love deeply while maintaining a strong sense of self. Number 2 is addiction to pleasure. One of the darker sides of the lover archetype is the tendency to chase pleasure at the expense of everything else. This can be seen in characters who prioritize emotional or physical gratification over long-term well-being. Take Don Draper from Mad Men, for instance. While he is passionate and charismatic, his constant pursuit of escapism eventually erodes his relationships and sense of self. The lover, when unbalanced, can become enslaved by the very feelings they cherish most, pretty much being a slave to their desires. Pleasure is not inherently bad. In fact, it's one of life's greatest gifts. But when we rely on it to avoid pain, boredom, or responsibility, it becomes a form of self-sabotage. Reflect on the times you sought comfort in distractions, maybe binge watching, overindulging, or diving into a relationship too quickly. These are all signs of the lover's shadow. True fulfillment comes not just from chasing highs, but from cultivating depth, discipline, and meaning in our experiences. And number 3, we have the fear of rejection or abandonment. The lover archetype craves connection, often to the point of fearing what life would look like without it. This fear can drive them to unhealthy attachments or cause them to lose themselves in the hopes of being loved. We see this kind of fear of rejection or abandonment in the character of Harley Quinn from Batman the Animated Series. She has an obsessive devotion to the Joker despite his abuse, which stems from a desperate need not to be alone. Her entire identity becomes entangled in that relationship, making it incredibly hard for her to walk away, even when it's clearly destroying her and even when the Joker is trying to end her life. Many of us have experienced this in our own lives. Not to the extreme of the Joker and Harley Quinn, or at least I hope not, but staying too long in toxic relationships, ignoring red flags, or suppressing our needs just to keep someone close. The lover's deep longing for intimacy is beautiful, but when it becomes driven by fear, it leads to self-abandonment. The path forward is learning that love must include self-love. True connection doesn't require sacrificing your worth. You need to learn, again, to love yourself before you love somebody else. Like Harley eventually discovers in later stories, reclaiming your independence is the first step toward finding love that is mutual, healthy, and free. At number 4, we have emotional imbalance. One of the greatest challenges of the lover archetype is maintaining emotional equilibrium. When intense feelings go unchecked, they can spiral into destructive behaviors. Think of Anakin Skywalker in the Star Wars prequels. His deep love and fear of loss drive him to the dark side, leading to devastating consequences not only for himself, but for the entire galaxy. Even though he had a deep love for Padme, he also had a deep fear of losing her, and ultimately it ended up happening anyway. What began as devotion quickly turned into obsession, showing us how overwhelming emotions, when left unbalanced, can cloud judgment and lead to tragic outcomes. I want you guys to ask yourselves, are your strongest emotions lifting you up or pulling you under? The lover archetype teaches us the beauty of feeling deeply, but also warns us to stay grounded. Passion is powerful, but without emotional regulation, it can tip into rage, jealousy, or despair. Cultivating self-awareness and learning to pause before reacting can help you channel your emotions constructively, rather than being ruled by them. Like Anakin, many of us want to protect what we love. We want to protect our significant other, we want to protect our family, but it's crucial to do so with clarity and compassion, not fear and control. Just like the other archetypes, the lover also embarks on a transformative journey, but their path is not marked by battles or conquests. Instead, it is a journey of the heart, centered around connection, intimacy, beauty, and the deep longing to feel fully alive. The lover is driven by a desire to merge with a person, a cause, or even the experience of life itself. Their path is filled with emotional highs and lows, where each relationship and every moment of passion teaches them more about who they are and what they value most. Like we mentioned in the beginning of the video, this archetype is not just about romance. It's also about presence, vulnerability, and devotion to life's richness. Also, don't forget about the shadow that comes with this archetype. It's important to be aware of this stuff. Obsession, heartbreak, and the fear of abandonment. Still, through every heartbreak and reunion, the lover evolves. And if they integrate both the beauty and the pain of love, they can transform into something deeper. A figure who embodies both passion and compassion. In time, the lover can grow into the caregiver archetype or even the sage archetype, holding within them a love that is wise, grounded, and unconditional. So this archetype reminds us of connection, emotion, and presence. While the hero archetype can charge ahead and conquer the world, the lover teaches us to slow down and fully experience the world, appreciate the beauty of life, feel deeply, and love without holding back. So just take a moment and reflect for a minute. When was the last time you let yourself truly feel something without pushing it away? When did you allow yourself to care even when it hurt? Or to see beauty in the little things, even in the middle of chaos? In a world that often values productivity over presence, we could all benefit from reconnecting with the lover inside of us. And this isn't saying to escape life's challenges. It's quite the opposite. It's saying that you must embrace the challenges with love and with your heart fully there. Of course, to fully grow, we must integrate all other archetypes. Like the hero archetype, for example, it can help us face challenges head on and stay committed to our path. Or the sage archetype can inspire you to seek more wisdom. To become more familiar with this kind of energy, check out this video right here. Thanks for watching.